This is going to be my beginner's class or course for watercolor. It can be a notoriously difficult medium, but I have actually been painting for about, oh gosh, longer than 20 years. Let's not say how old I am. And I have taught a few classes, so this is one of the earliest exercises that I do to get people used to their watercolor brushes and paint is to know your brushes and your paint and your paper. So for instance, these are both round brushes, but this is going to be a mop brush. So you're going to use this to apply water and you're going to use this to actually paint with. I use these both a lot. So what I want you to try to do in this first beginner lesson, does not matter what color you use, I don't care, I'm just picking a shade, is to try the basic techniques of watercolor, which if you watched any videos, the first one is going to be wet on wet, which means your paper is wet. And then you get your paint. I'm just doing circles because I'm going to show you a little bit about shading, okay? So here I have, I don't know if you can see it, a little bit of a wet spot. So now the paper's wet, I'm going to get wet paint. And this is what they're gonna, or I'm gonna call, everyone calls it dropping your paint in. So that means I'm gonna be now adding paint. And what's great about this process is when I put on washes onto anything, wherever that water is, that is where my paint is going to stay. It is not going to bleed or spread anywhere else other than where that water is, unless of course I brush it. So this gives you a typical watercolor look. So I'm dropping in more color. And then here's the one thing about watercolor you really need to learn. Walk away and let it dry. I can add more color if I decide to, but I would, if I did that, I'm gonna do that very lightly and minimally, or else you will get a mess. So what color do I want to add here? All right, let's just do orange. So again, I'm getting a color, dropping it in. Oh, it's already drying. See, that's already dried. It's not spreading or blooming. It's another word, blooming or spreading that much. Okay, so I'm gonna use the orange, and next we're gonna do wet paint onto dry paper. So I'm gonna get my orange nice and ready to go. I'm gonna do just another circle to get an idea what I'm doing here. Now, if I had lines and I'm tracing, that's easier. I can fill that in however I want to. And there really is a use for all of these. And actually, I just used both. I dropped more paint in when it was wet. And I'm gonna walk away and I'm gonna leave it and I'm going to let it dry. How I use these two typically when I paint is that on my initial washes of any like petals, let's try one here, I'll just make it up. Just make up a rose petal here. Okay, let's say this is a petal of a flower. My initial washes and my initial colors, I'm going to use the wet on wet because it's just going to be a very, very efficient way to get a lot of paint in the right areas. And I can use that to either cover the entire flower, or typically, because I use such big pieces of paper, is that I will only do one petal at a time. That keeps the colors from bleeding. Now, when that is dry, you can see when that's dry, how I can get a much more saturated color. Now, when that's dry, I can go back in and add more colors.